Hey everyone, just gonna talk about technologies, and let me tell you what, I am no master of this game by any means. I am not a technology specialist. I know I have done a billion different combos to see what works better for the Titans and Planet Wars, and it just seems like an ongoing thing. And there is a lot of different variables to technology and Planet Wars, and doing your other things due to the fact it could be your ship, it can be your opponent's pilots, it could be just a million different factors. And so it's just seemingly you're always maybe trying to change your technologies to fit what you're trying to do. But again, this can always change depending on the player that you're playing against, depending on the Titan challenge. I mean, this is kind of endless. And I will I've already done a Titan challenge, and of course I do my technologies different on my Titan challenge versus Planet War, so I might as well just use this as an example. And so over here I'm gonna just show you guys what I'm looking like real quick. And so not too terribly bad. This has been a pretty big challenge, and you can see Aquaman, which is a big opponent and difficult to beat. I am on level 5, and it took me a little while to figure out how I can do this a little bit better without doing my technologies 10 million different ways. But again, depending on who you're playing against and what they're doing and how they're doing it is a big factor in your technologies. And there's a lot of crazy ways to look at this, and hey, my technology is going to be better if I do it this way and that way. It looks like I have a bigger score than this other player. And one thing that I've noticed, especially in Planet Wars, is generally the players that have a better dodge are generally going to win more. And I also noticed the players with more physical defense break and physical defense are going to win more. But that also goes back to the ship that you're going against, because some are energy and some are physical, so that can be a little variable. But I'm going to show you guys something here, because I've done my technologies a lot of different ways. I just did a Titan challenge, and I'm going to show you my technologies. And some people looking at this are going to be like, oh man, your technologies are trash. I think nobody knows exactly how to set these up the perfect way. I mean, if it's working for you, hey, more power to you. I've never been a huge fan of the actual wing gun itself, and I can never see a huge increase no matter how I set it up with the wing gun. But I'll go back to this here in a little bit. So I'm going to reset my technologies, and I'm going to show you guys just something, because in the past, when you look at your technologies and you put auto upgrade, if you look at your base attacks, they say 50%, and you're saying to yourself, well, if it's 50%, gosh, that's got to make a huge impact. And so even your critical damage has a 50%. And so I used to go after my main gun base increase always, and my critical damages always, and then just kind of scatter my technologies. And then if you go into the forums, everybody's going to have 10 million different ways that they're setting up their technologies. Some say make it as even as possible, and I've seen it all and I've heard it all, and I've been trying to do it all. And just seemingly, no matter how you set these up, especially in the Titan challenge, it doesn't seem like there's a gigantic result. And so when you go to Planet Wars and you look at your first stats at the top there, it's, you want yours to look bigger than the other players, and sometimes that's not the best option. Bigger doesn't always mean better, that I've learned. And so I'm going to do this for you guys. I'm going to do base of all your base attacks. And if you were paying attention to my level earlier, you can compare and just go back to the video here. But when you do your base attacks and you go back to Planet Wars, this is what makes you look bigger. And let me go back real quick, and I'll use this as an example. So HP, so 262967, okay? But look at my huge increase by doing my base attacks. When you just look at the player, That's what that's registering is your base attack. Now, again, that doesn't mean that you're actually all that more powerful. And so if I go back to technology and I do my base armor here, let's see. So there's my base. That's your HP. So if you go back to Planet Wars and you look at my HP now, pretty significant level up. And so, you know, that's a lot of technology just in those to make this look the way that it looks. And so if I go and I compare myself to somebody now, you can see huge comparisons. But I tell you what, you know, going against this player here, he would probably win, believe it or not, even though it looks like I am super powerful and I've got bigger this and I got bigger that. You know, again, when you really look at the end of this, what I've been noticing is the dodge rate is generally winning more for even the smaller players. You know, it's taken me a little while to kind of try to figure this out, and that dodge rate's pretty important. The only dodge that I know of in the not even technologies is Freya is the one with the dodge, and so he must have, or they must have, Freya fully upgraded to have that type of a dodge rate. So I was having a little bit of problems even with this player beating him and him beating me, even though I've got these huge increases. I've got, you know, so much more power, and it's taken me a while to try to figure out how do I set up my technologies for this and what technologies are working better. And it just seems like you can do this a million different times and just get a different result, and a lot of times it doesn't seem like anything's really changing that much, or you're more powerful. And so I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my technologies, but if I'm doing the Titan Challenge, me personally, I have, so I'm going to reset this real quick, but going back to the Titan Challenge, it seems like when I do an auto upgrade and I put it more on my critical main gun rate, or the not rate, excuse me, the damage, and yeah, and the critical rate, I am getting a higher score without putting any technologies on the rest of the actual weapon. And that's just me. And so again, I'm not a huge fan of the wing gun. If I do the Titan Challenge, I will do the same thing. I will put the critical rate and damage on my wing gun, and it seems like it works a little bit here. But if I'm in okay, so if I'm in Planet Wars and all these guys keep beating me, and the bigger players are beating me, the smaller players are beating me, this is how I've been setting mine up. And this is just me. I've been doing critical rate, I've been doing critical damage on my main gun. I've been skipping over the wing gun completely, believe it or not. And then I do my critical rate, and then I do my critical damage, and then I'm going to come in here and you know, do your armor base. How well is it working? As far as now, it's been working better by this little combination, and then I've been putting more into my defense. And so, and then if I have a little tiny bit, I will go to a little bit of the offense. But this little combination here has enabled me to beat Aquaman, which is a very powerful opponent. And so if we do compare attributes here, you can see he's been playing this game, and he has some serious attributes here, and you see he's beating me. But where am I beating him is, again, what did I say earlier, the physical defense and physical defense break. I think that makes a pretty huge difference in Planet Wars. And then you can see I am not as powerful as him by any means. He kind of beats me in a lot of different ways, but if you get to the bottom here, look what it says now. The damage reduction from aerial enemies is 51 to 23, which is pretty huge. And so we're a little neck and neck, but just this little combination that I have here has enabled me to beat this big player. And again, now I don't have some of these other teams with their dodge beating me also. So this little combination has enabled me to just be a little bit more powerful without looking like I'm more powerful. Again, so if we go back, because I took everything off, but I did do my armor, so you see my armor's up, but my main guns and stuff, they look a lot weaker. They look weaker than other opponents, but again, this little combination right here for me has been doing pretty dang good against other players. And so again, if you go into the forum, you're going to get 9 million different answers from 9 million different players. Again, there's a lot of variables, the ship that you're using, the pilot that you're using. There's just a million different things that are going on with this. And again, going back to the player that you're playing against, or you want to beat them, or there is some variables, but again, that's how I've been setting up my technologies. And when I go back to the Titan and I go back to the event bosses, the only difference that I see majorly is if I go into a more defensive, which you'd think if you were more defensive and you're able to take the Titan blast more, that you might be able to get more damage to him that way. But whenever I do defensive playing the game, I actually lose a ton of points versus playing offensively. And so me personally, I wish this game would actually give us a couple of options of how to set the technologies up that we don't have to reset all the time, such as a defensive side and an offensive side, a Planet War side, a Titan Challenge side. I think there's a lot of different ways to set up these technologies for what you're doing, but if you just heard what I just said, that's resetting your technologies, that's making us spend more diamonds, and I'm pretty positive they would never do what I just asked. Let us have a few options of keeping a defensive and an offensive, a Titan, and I doubt that will ever happen, but man, that would really help from resetting these technologies all the time to suit what we are doing. But again, I'm no master at this, guys. I've done this a million times, just trying to figure out the different combinations. I will have more videos on the comparisons. Does the here, we'll go back here. I think I got a good video in the future here for technologies that I haven't done. But the damage increase when you're doing the Titan, does increasing against the boss all the way up, does it give you more damage? There's just a lot of comparisons that you can do, but between me and you, they're very hard to see. For me, going middle of all your weapons versus the criticals, and versus, there's not a significant difference. And I think this is what's driving me crazy about it is, I think everybody's trying to find the perfect technology, what is maximizing everything that we're doing. And I'm still kind of on that hunt for myself. But what I just told you earlier about the just doing your criticals versus some of the other stuff, that's been pretty dang effective even on the Titan and in Planet War. So again, just depending on who you're talking to, they're going to tell you something different. If it's working for you, hey, let it work for you. Don't let anybody be the judge of what you're doing. You be the judge. If you're getting through the game, hey, more power to you. If you have better suggestions, or something is working better than what I've just shown, leave a comment, make a video. And I have a ton of other videos up there in comparisons. And I do appreciate you guys coming to the channel, and let me know what you think, and be on the lookout for more videos.